right, everyone,
Bad
from the
friend
spooks to the
games.
slugs.
We
Bad friend games.
we will make you understand. Hi. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, fantastic evening. My name is Valentina, the project lead over at Bad Friend Games. Unfortunately, the rest of my team very busy working on a lot of stuff. We're approaching finals week here at SCAD Atlanta, but I'm here. But the rest are with me in spirit. And this is Slugfest, the culmination of 48 hours of incredibly hard work. So Slugfest pits mythical slugs against one another in very quick turn-based strategy battles. We invite you to slug it out in the root fields in head-to-head gastropod combat while you unlock powerful slugs, assemble unique strategies, and fight for control of the map. The idea behind this game is that it's meant to be something that is able to be picked up really quick, but can be replayed a number of times in quick succession. The idea is that we're going for a very simple kind of fun while maintaining more complex gameplay strategies that allow for replayability. So in Slugfest, players will unlock unique slugs to assemble in head-to-head turn-based combat. Slugs have this resource called slime, which is used to fuel all of their abilities, and players will essentially take turns using their abilities by spending their slime to damage each other's enemies, heal allies, or otherwise alter the game state with unique mechanics. The main objective of Slugfest is to defeat all of your opponent's slugs. You're really slugging it out. No pun intended. So the art style behind Slugfest is meant to really be bright and vibrant. So everything we have here, the idea is that it really is supposed to brim with this unique sense of character. Every slug or environment has their own unique stories to tell, and each one comes from the mind of a different member of the Bad Friends team. So each one is incredibly personal. For example, this here is Goner, the slug that I designed, and one of the best ones in the game, no bias, of course. And he's named after one of my favorite songs, and he's called Goner because he's made of wax, and his antennas are little lit candle wicks. So he doesn't have a lot of time left, but he's really trying to slug it out before he goes. And here you can see some more slugs. One on the right, Squire, which is one of the original four of the game, and one upcoming that is not named that will be approaching very, very soon. So during the game jam, at the end of the SCAD Atlanta jam, we really spent time developing our core gameplay elements. So we finished up our one-on-one slug combat system with local turn-based multiplayer, and we created 4 unique slug characters with their own mechanics, art, and animations, as well as 1 digital environment. A big issue that we ran into on the first day of the jam, the initial idea was to develop this for mobile platforms, but getting the SDK working properly became so much of an issue that we kind of had to scrap the idea entirely and start over building for PC. But the idea here is that we made this game to be played both in physical and digital versions. So in the digital version that we have right now, it's just one-on-one, but with the physical editions of the cards, you can play in up to 3-on-3 battles. For our progress moving forward, Bad Friends plans to continue the expansion of our core gameplay features throughout this entire month of development, namely more slugs. We can't get enough of these little guys. We're planning on having 5 more total for a total of 9. And we want to have multiple different maps, each with their own unique mechanics and objectives. So there's a bit more gameplay variety rather than just kill all the enemy slugs. And of course, we want to expand to have 3-on-3 slug battles versus the normal 1-on-1 and digital editions, as well as having local network multiplayer. But that's basically what we've got to show right now. And thank you guys so much for your time. And remember to stay slimy out there. And of course, I'm open to answer any questions that you guys might have.
All right, very nice. Ron Jones, the artist, I think sums up what a number of the folks in chat were saying, which is very polished looking visuals. Yeah, great look to it. So you said there's a physical version of this as well, and that's what the trailer sort of implied. How tested out is the physical version of the game?
The physical version, we actually spent the entire first day kind of developing almost to completion. It's incredibly, I guess, more polished than the digital version, obviously, because we had the full 2 days to work on it, or the full 48 hours. So if you want, you can actually go to our GM site, and I think we have all the cards up there, as well as all the rules you need to play the game, able to be downloaded in a PDF if you're interested in trying out the game physically. Or, of course, the digital version is up on there as well.
All right. Waberoid says, let's go, Val.
Appreciate it.
And Juan Gonzalez says, the homie 5 points.
Yeah, shout out to Juan. He's actually our art lead here on this project. And I guess in line with the idea of all of these slugs kind of being very personal to all of us, 5 points was the one Juan designed, he's a little gargoyle. I'm not sure if anyone in the chat watching ever watched that cartoon growing up, but he's named 5 points because in the show, all the characters are named after different boroughs in New York, and 5 points, of course, is a cool spot in Atlanta that we really like.
Excellent. You might have to break off Buckhead, but I'm very much looking forward to a lot of the other areas you can have. So as someone who's worked on 2 successful CCGs, I'm taking for granted this isn't a CCG. You're not planning to make this collectible.
So in our current or our initial rather idea behind this game is that it was meant to be a trading card game, but as of our current plans, the idea is by the end of March, it's just going to be selectable with the ability to unlock more slugs over time.
Got it. I do have to say, if you got 5 points, I really want Bankhead as part of it, but that's just me.
We'll definitely take a note of that.
All right. So let's talk about some of the difficulty between transitioning from tabletop to digital. What did you have to change? What did you find to be problems along the way?
Absolutely, there were some difficulties moving forward, getting this built out digitally. We built this whole game in Unreal 5, and getting our programmer Jaden, again, shout out to Jaden, a really excellent guy, great programmer. He was able to really capture a lot of the core mechanics of the game just right off the bat. But of course, there's a lot of issues with some of the more complex ideas that exist only currently in the physical cards that we couldn't get all the way transferred over. Like, namely, some of the slugs, I think half of the slugs of our initial ones have passive abilities that are just always active throughout the game. And getting that in programming-wise in our shorter, I guess not 48, closer to 36-hour digital development window was pretty difficult for Unreal 5.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you're doing all of that in Blueprints then?
Yes, this was built in Blueprint.
Excellent. So right now, is it only multiplayer, or can you do it single player?
This is definitely intended to be a multiplayer-only game. Right now, we are kicking around some ideas of just some like player versus AI, like a few of those missions, especially for a tutorial, which is at the top of the list for digital development moving forward in the next few weeks. But the main impetus of the game is that it's meant to be competitive. So like you have your slugs, your opponent or your friend has theirs, and you're really just duking it out head to head.
So right now, are you only doing it one machine style head to head, or are you actually connecting computers right now?
As of for our game jam build is one machine split screen head to head, but we are basically rehauling our entire Unreal build to have multiple machines playing.
Excellent. Glad you got Dodson and the other folks over at SCAD who know Unreal.
Yeah, really great people. Lots of killer professors.
All right, there are others out there of you in the audience who consider yourselves UE5 experts. That's something any team can use help with, so feel free to give advice. We have a Unreal channel within the GGDA Discord if you have questions and run into problems, so feel free to ask them here. I'm pretty impressed that you got this working in a weekend on in UE.
Yeah, we'll absolutely take full advantage of that resource. But it was a really fun but also very challenging technical lift. The entire team about all 9 of us, we actually stayed the night at the Digital Media Center both nights. One, just because we wanted to just keep working on the game. We're all really excited about it. But also, like, I guess just like any game, projects like these are a really big lift, both on the art side and the tech side. And being able to work on it just together was a really great experience.
Yeah, excellent. One last question. The art's looking good. And I like the animations you have in place, but I'm taking for granted that you're showing the idle animations right now for them, but you're going to have strike animations and reaction animations and death animations and so forth.
Yeah, actually, Adelie, shout out to Adelie, amazing, wonderful animator. She is insane, and she actually got like every slug as of right now. The 4 that we have all have their own unique attack animations and death animations. The only issue was just time for implementation. We couldn't get them in fast enough, but definitely we're gonna, of course, be doing more of those for unique abilities and so on going forward.
So we all know the issues with rigging humans and rigging horses. You're going to have to write a dissertation on the problems with rigging slugs. Okay.
Definitely. Braden, if you're in the chat right now, he has not stopped talking about rigging slugs since game. Every single day, he's like, slug, whatever class I have him in.
And last question will be from Ron Jones, the artist. If you just clarify the relationship between the tabletop and the digital game, he asked. So you have built 2 different games independent of each other, or did you design them to play off each other when players should also get the physical game? In other words, is there a way to mix the physical and virtual, or right now are they played distinctly?
So for one of the main inspirations for this game for me as a designer, I'm not sure if you're familiar or ever heard of the game Chaotic. Growing up, it also had that idea of having like a physical game that was connected to the digital version. So as of right now, in the build, the way you unlock more slugs as opposed to just playing the game is if you have the physical card, you can scan a little QR code on it and it will unlock the slug in the digital version of the game. So they're connected in that sense, but otherwise they're distinct.
All right. Well, we've got a lot more chats now. Crazy Side says, I rigged 7 slugs.
That's him.
Waberite says, he just talks about all of them. Had to ask to do one myself. The Ginger Lord says, yes, you did. Adele's Life says, in the future, attack. Dove Jackson, we'll give him the last question. How do the combat mechanics work?
So, slugs all have a resource called slime, which if you look in the GIF here, you can kind of see in the bottom left, and that increases and decreases based off of which slime abilities they use. So on each player's turn, they can activate one of their slugs to use one of their abilities. So as you can see here on the left, we have Squirt, and his ability does damage to the enemy or to a target enemy based off of the square root of his current slime amount. And then after he would use that ability, the target would take damage, which is indicated by the little health bar you can see. And they essentially go back and forth until one of them dies. With the game becoming more complex, the more slugs you have. And then, of course, in games that are larger than one-on-one, there are different places to be on the game board. So things like positioning and then those sort of things come into play.
All right, great stuff. Okay, we're going to transition and bring back our last team of the night. So thank you, Slugfest.
Thank you for the chance to present. And remember, stay slimy out there.